talk about cloud optimization, the usual advice is add more. More tools, more features, more monitoring. But what if the real solution isn't about adding at all, but subtracting? That's exactly what we're going to dig into today.
Now, this quote, it has nothing to do with the cloud. It's actually about AI-generated language. It's about how we can take a simple idea and just bury it under layers of exaggerated, complicated-sounding words. And it turns out that's pretty much exactly what we've been doing to our cloud infrastructure. Think about it. Just like vague language hides a lack of real meaning, bloated cloud architectures hide massive costs and so much waste. We just keep piling on more services, more features, more instances, thinking we're building more capability when all we're really building is more complexity and a much, much bigger bill. Okay, so let's dive right into the heart of the problem here. It's kind of a paradox in the modern cloud. We're constantly told to add more to get more value, but somehow we just end up with more problems.
Okay, get a load of this number, 94%. That is the percentage of IT leaders who say their cloud storage costs have gone up. I mean, that's nearly everybody. The cloud promised all this efficiency, but for most folks, it's become a financial black hole.
So you gotta ask, why is this so darn hard to control? Well, it's because modern cloud environments are basically a perfect storm of complexity. Growth is totally unpredictable, the pricing models are baffling, and your architecture is probably sprawling across multiple different providers. It's just a recipe for hidden costs and wasted resources.
So, how do we fix this? Well, the answer doesn't come from some fancy new piece of tech. Nope. It comes from a simple, really powerful principle borrowed from a totally different field, the world of industrial design.
And that principle is less, but better. Or weniger aber besser, as the legendary designer Dieter Rams championed. The idea is so simple, it's kind of radical. To make something better, you don't add to it. You subtract. You relentlessly strip away every single non-essential element until only pure function is left.
Now, this philosophy gives us a powerful new way to look at our cloud strategy. It asks us to challenge every single service with 4 simple questions. First, utility. Does this actually solve a real problem? Second, clarity. Can anyone understand what this thing does and what it costs? Third, honesty. Are we being realistic about what we really need? And finally, timelessness. Are we building something that will last, or are we just chasing the latest tech trend?
And what's so cool about this slide is how it brings us full circle. On the left, you see that bloated, exaggerated language we talked about at the very beginning. And on the right, the simple, functional alternative. The exact same discipline has to apply to our architecture. We need to stop building systems that serve as a testament to innovation and just start building systems that simply work.
Okay, so that's the theory, but how do we actually put this into practice? Well, applying that principle of absolute clarity starts where it hurts the most, with the money. It all starts with financial governance. The key here is a practice called finops. And listen, this is not a tool you can just buy. It's a complete cultural shift. FinOps is all about getting your engineering, finance, and business teams to speak the same language and to share ownership of cloud costs.
And this is the absolute game changer. Cost control stops being just the finance team's problem, and it becomes everyone's shared responsibility. You build a culture of awareness by giving teams real-time dashboards so they can actually see their spending. You use alerts and chargeback models to make the financial impact of every technical decision totally impossible to ignore.
Okay, so we've got clarity covered. Next up, we apply the principles of honesty and utility. This means taking a really hard, honest look at what's actually running in your cloud environments and why it's even there in the first place. And let me tell you, when you start looking with truly honest eyes, you are going to find waste. It is everywhere. Over-provisioned machines that you're paying full price for but barely using. Idle resources just sitting there burning cash. And my personal favorite, zombie workloads. You know, those experimental projects that someone spun up 6 months ago and then completely forgot about, but they're still running and they're still costing you money.
And this is a brilliant, practical first step. You don't need a 6-month project. You can start this in the next 48 hours. Just identify your top 10 most expensive workloads. Force a decision for each one. Is it strategic, experimental, or a zombie? Shut down the zombies. And from this day forward, you make a new rule. Nothing gets spun up without an owner, a budget, and a crystal clear definition of what success looks like. All right, last principle, timelessness. This helps us navigate what is maybe the biggest hype cycle in tech right now, artificial intelligence.
When it comes to cloud costs, AI is a total paradox. It can either be a massive driver of new, unpredictable expenses, or it can be your single most powerful tool for optimization. The difference really comes down to discipline.
I mean, on one side of the coin, AI workloads are incredibly expensive. They need intense GPU power, they have volatile token-based pricing, and they can scale up like crazy with no warning. But then you flip that coin over, and you see that AI is also the best tool we have to manage all this complexity. It can predict capacity needs, automate resource allocation, and hunt down waste way better than any human team ever could.
In fact, get this, research shows that organizations that actually use AI-enabled optimization strategies can achieve up to a 40% reduction in their annual cloud costs. The very tool that creates the complexity is also the key to mastering it.
So ultimately, this isn't just about a checklist of fixes you can make. It's about a fundamental shift in your mindset. It's about building an entirely new practice. This isn't about some one-time project to cut costs. That's just a temporary fix, a band-aid. True optimization is a continuous, ongoing process of refinement, simplification, and subtraction. It has to become part of your company's operational DNA.
And this quote just frames it perfectly. The goal here isn't to be cheap or to stop innovating. The goal is to fund future innovation by relentlessly cutting the waste from today. You standardize what works to create the resources you need to discover what works next.
By focusing on less, by embracing this idea of disciplined simplicity and just stripping away everything that isn't essential, you don't just lower your cloud bill, you gain clarity, you gain focus, and you create the space to build something that's truly, genuinely better.
So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Instead of always asking, what new service can we add? Try asking, what can we take away? The answer might just unlock your next big breakthrough.